Hello, my name's Jason. I'm out here this morning, Saturday, December 7th, 2013. It's about 8 degrees out here, but I'm not really feeling it yet. I'm out here at Shawnee Mission Park in Kansas City Metro. I come out here all the time to hike. There's not much else in the metro area. There's a few trails and stuff, but I like coming out here because normally I could get out of the beaten path where I don't run into very many people. Today, I doubt I'm going to run into anybody being 8 degrees. So I'm going to hike that way, which is west for, I don't know, about an hour, and then I'm going to cut south for about an hour, have some lunch, find some cool stuff, and make my way back here. So, thanks for watching. This is the first part of the trail. It's not really a trail here, it's more of a road, but it's a closed road. Doesn't have any access from the outside. I'm only going to follow it for about 5 minutes till it ends up here in an old farmhouse that's now part of the park. But I love coming out here. It's one of the only places in the city you could get away from everybody else. There's that farmhouse. I'm not sure how old it is. I do know that it was last occupied about 8 years ago. Then the family died, or the last member of the family died, and they donated or sold the land to the park. They've developed some of this land for park purposes, but not all of it yet. I wish I had all the land that whoever owned this had. This is the trail that I come out and hike quite a bit. Don't usually carry a full pack when I come out here and hike, but because I want to start getting back into hiking and camping and all the other wonderful stuff you could do out here that I used to do when I was younger and kind of got out of, I'm going to start bringing most of my equipment with me, even when I go for a little bit of a hike. So I'm going to follow this down and around for about, I'd say, half a mile to 3/4 of a mile, where I could split off and follow a ravine down to, there's a river, or it's not really a river, there'd be a large creek. There's some old campsites down there that the park uses every now and then, but not very much. More for, I give Boy Scouts when they come out. Anyway, a little side trail that splits off. Let us show you the view here. See if I can find a rock to throw out there to see how it does. Here we go. That's pretty solid, but I'm still not walking on it. A little rock doesn't prove much of anything. Okay, so this area of the trail is my favorite part of the trail. I like the pine trees here, the smell of it, and it reminds me of some areas that I found at the Boy Scout camp I used to work at in southern Missouri. I worked there for 3 summers, and I worked in the kitchen, so I worked around the meals, but the rest of the time I had, at my disposal pretty much for the most part, and I would just go hiking. It was around Truman Lake, which is a huge lake in the reservation. The Boy Scout reservation was very large, and I could go hiking for a couple hours, get out in the middle of the woods and just be out there. And this kind of reminds me of some of my favorite spots I found while I worked out there. There's a small trail that crosses here. I'm actually going to take this part down. This is where I'm going to start turning south to go down to where the little old campsites are to make my coffee. I've been hiking about an hour now. So, well, I made it to the campsite. Don't know if you can see my head or not, because I can't see the screen of the camera. Don't know if you can hear me. But anyways, I'm going to make my coffee right here on this picnic table. The campsite, it's been here for a while. I don't see any signs that it's been used recently. That's mainly because the park doesn't allow people to just come out and use them. You have to be part of a bigger organization like Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or, I don't know, Campfire Kids. I don't think that's a real one. Anyways, I'm going to start my coffee. I'm going to use my cook kit here. So I got the stove lit here. Can on there. Okay, so I don't like my coffee very hot, especially when it's really cold out. So, give it a couple more, like another minute, and it'll be to the temperature that I like. Sounds in there. I don't really mind it too much. So here's that stream I was telling you about. I've been paralleling it since I got to that campsite. Be a good thing to burn a fire in. This is exactly where I wanted to come out. This is the edge of the land that's got what I believe is a quarry on it. It's hard to know for sure. It looks like a quarry, but I'll be there in less than 5 minutes. Okay, so here is the first part of the ridge. It wraps around behind those trees. It comes out over here. I mean, it could very well be natural, but can't see behind those trees, but it's wrapped all the way around there. I'd say, I don't know. It definitely looks like a quarry once you get up to the top of that ridge right there. That is where I'm going to be eating lunch. It's really flat. Coming up to the edge of the ridge of the quarry here. That thing's probably pretty well frozen. It's not very deep. I don't know. You can see that's all frozen water. There's the edge of the quarry. And down there is where I was standing when I was trying to point up here as to where I was going. So I had to take off my coat for a few minutes and my hat and my gloves because it's pretty warm. I was sweating a little bit. I wanted to cool off. There's my pack. It's an old pack. I used it when I was in Scouts. There's not much in there right now. Just enough for this day hike. I took off my coat. I got the sweater on underneath, which I'll probably take off before I head back. That way I'm not sweating too bad, because even though my phone, I just checked it, says 13 degrees, that's sun. beaten down pretty hard, especially when you're moving around. So I'm gonna get my lunch going here. Get my stove set up here in a level spot. See, that's a little unlevel. Let's see. That should work. But get some fuel to put in there. Put a little extra in there because it's so cold. I don't know how long it's going to take to boil the water. Get my windscreen out. It's lit. Windscreen around there. Take off this lid. I marked the inside of this with some marks so that I know how much I'm putting in there, but this thing also has marks so I know how much I need. So put that on there, get the lid, wait for it to boil. Alright, so right now while this is starting to heat up, it's almost to the boiling point. I'm going to try this thing I got at the dollar store. I don't know if you could read it. It's a self-heating can. It's got this thing on the bottom. You pull it off and you push a button and it's supposed to heat up itself as hot chocolate. It says hot in 3 minutes, so I'm going to try it out. Not sure exactly what in there heats it up. It's probably a chemical process separate from what I'm going to drink, hopefully. So let's give that a try. Using both thumbs, it says. Push it. Alright. A little bit of steam came off. It says to shake for 30 seconds. And it says sit for 3 minutes, so I'm going to let it sit there. And I'll let you know how it turns out. Okay, so water's almost there. This thing has been sitting for 3 minutes. It's a little warm on the outside. Let's open it up. See? Smells like hot chocolate. Let's try it. Not very hot. I mean, it is warm. I mean, it may have to do with the fact that it's really cold out here. But I'm not really sure how this thing works. It's almost like there's something else beneath the can that's supposed to heat it up. Not as hot as I hoped, but at least it's warm. And it doesn't taste bad. Not quite a boil, that it's warm enough to start what I'm going to be making. Since it's just me, I'm gonna make this. It's ramen, but it's a better style ramen, plus spicy, so it'll keep me nice and warm, or warm me up anyways. Make this at home. It's not too hard, it's just like basic ramen, but a little bit more to it, a little bit higher quality, taste a little bit better, and usually make it as a soup. So let me get that started in there. Alright, got it started in there. It's hard to see on this view screen, but I'm sure you can see it in there. It's gonna taste really good. I like this stuff anyways. So, get that mixed up. I'm going to put the lid back on. Let it go for a couple minutes to get the noodles nice and soft. Then I'll try it out. I think that my soup is done. Test the noodles out here. They look nice and soft. Perfect. So I put on my gloves because it was a little chilly, plus this thing's handle gets kind of warm. So set that aside for a minute. I'm going to put my stove out. Man, it's so nice and peaceful sitting out here on this ridge. Oh, that's perfect. Not a hard meal by any means. Set this stuff aside, and if you'll excuse me while I eat my lunch. When I usually hike in this area where the quarry is, I come through there. Just past that mound, there's a trailhead that brings you up to, I don't know if you can see it, there's a power pole right there, and that's the back of the old archery range. Close to where the new archery range is, that's where I usually park. About, I'd say, 200 yards east of that pole. So when I hike down here, I usually park up there, come down through here. I didn't show you, but just on the other side of this little stand of pines, or evergreen or whatever they are, there's a small pond there that I've tried to fish before and didn't have much luck. And that's the way I came from, towards where the quarry walls are. Now, instead of going up there, since my car's not up there, I'm gonna hike to the end of this clearing, and down there is where the horse trail comes out. So this horse trail, it's a little overgrown, not too bad, but I don't think it's been used in the last month or so. It follows these utility poles that go all the way down out there. Then at the end of the utility poles is where I will hook up back to the, actually it goes right back to the campsite where I had my coffee, and then I could go up the hill to hook up with that bike trail. Alright, so this is an area that I like to fish a lot. It's the spillway for the dam. The dam, and let me get over here on a little bridge going over it. The dam is up there, and here is the trail I'm going to take back up to the car. It's the horse trail. I did go by the Boy Scouts. There was a whole troop of them, but I didn't really want to go in and bother them. I talked to one guy that was on the edge of camp that said that they were spending the whole weekend out here, but made me miss Boy Scouts a little bit. I'm at the end of my journey today. Anyways, I'd like to thank you for watching and hope that you keep watching in the future. And this hike really reinvigorated my spirit and my love for the great outdoors. So again, thanks for watching the Outdoor Wanderer. My name's Jason Kupsik. Keep coming back.